So Codewars, anybody object or agree or whatever? Like, let's
I
just
agree.
Yeah,
The
Cold
Code Wars.
I'm
Cold
with the
War.
Code Wars.
Codewars.
I
Okay.
agree.
All right. Codewars it is. So which one y'all want to share your screen because y'all gonna be doing this? Which one? Or I can make a or I can choose a random person.
Just a heads up, I'm stuck on my phone.
Okay. I'll even say the person that shares their screen only have to do 2 instead of 3 for next week. There's some incentive.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I got us out here and I'm on my phone too. I'll do next week for sure. Somebody take one for me. Since I got us out here on this track.
I can do it.
Okay, cool.
All right, give me a sec to get set up.
All right.
All right. And sign me up for next week, Isaiah. Appreciate that, Kev. Or was that Terrence?
It's Kev, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, just some quick shout outs. I have been paying attention to who's been like most active in the code challenges channel. And I do notice, obviously, Jabez is always in there. I see Terrence a lot, and I see Kev a lot. I would like to see more of y'all just in there, just doing like coach challenges throughout the whole week, not just like on Saturday or whatever. And even like responding to like other people's coach challenges and like giving your own solutions, because that type of stuff like it stands out first of everything. If I do like agree to like be a recommendation for you, it's something I can talk about. Okay, like yeah, in my class, this person was very active in the the code challenges channel or whatever. You definitely want to build like I can't like make stuff up basically. So like give me something to talk about if you're gonna ask me to be like a reference afterwards. And I can't really have anything to talk about if you just submit homework and just call it a day. So something to pay attention to.
Yeah, I think you're talking directly to me.
You talking to me too, don't worry.
Nah, man, I be putting my stuff in at 11:58. Like,
everybody do it. Yeah, I was like, I'm on my, I'm seeing them all coming. I'm like, okay. I'm like, this reminds me of college. I remember like having assignments and like doing it like the day before or whatever, or like day of, and like it's like this is like human nature almost. But like I want y'all to like make this like a part of your lifestyle, because that's how it's going to be. Like whether you want it to or not, it's going to be like that. Like even when you want a job, and let's say you wanted to just know JavaScript by itself, like you wanted to just stop right there. There's always going to be stuff that you gotta like try to teach yourself. Like we literally just switched from Angular to React. Thank God with in my company, I think like a few months ago we switched from Angular to React. The people that didn't know React had to learn React. The people that already knew React, me, was happy about it because I hate Angular. What's it called? They just mandated everybody switch from the whole company switched to AWS, Amazon Web Services. That's like hosting things in the cloud. And the people that didn't know about it got to learn it now.
Okay.
The people that already knew it obviously is happy about it. But like it's just an example of like how you're gonna always have to continuously learn this stuff. And obviously, if you want to move up in your position, you gotta keep learning stuff. So just a
no, man. Now, what I'm also finding,
sorry.
I'm sorry, I said it one real quick. It's definitely just like you're saying, like immersing it into your everyday life. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
My goal for this week is to do more, right, and to try to do one a day, right? Because then that way I'm doing coding once a day. I'm staying on track, and that the code work stuff, dog, is is opening up doors, and you know what I'm saying, as you continue to do problems
Right.
and continue to look at different stuff, and then like even looking at the solutions and stuff as you go through and see how different people decided to attack the problem. And what I'm finding is as I go through, because I have an idea of how it was supposed to, how I was trying to attack it, right? And the tools I was trying to use. And then once I go through the solutions, I see, oh, okay, so this is the guy that was using the similar track that I was on. And then I see it and it's kind of like, and then I go back, you know what I mean? So it's imprinting things into my mind as far as ways to attack these problems. So it's definitely helping a lot. Definitely require this in your next courses.
For sure. Especially, was you gonna say something or?
I was just gonna say, I'm glad you told me I could do it on my phone because I had no idea. I had took Slack off my phone because I keep a tab on my laptop up, and I'm literally on my laptop every day. I work from home, so I like work on a project and Codewars like in between. Like I basically toggle between the two and go back and forth. But my internet, when my internet went out, it was like it was like I died inside a little bit because my job, like they don't pay us. Like if it's something wrong with our internet or our power, like my power went out around here when we had that first thunderstorm, like last week or a couple of days ago. And you know, once I reported it to my supervisor, like they clock you right out, like they don't play. So I was like, yeah, I was a little sick about it because when I called Fios, the guy, he thought that I had it good. He was like, oh man, like you're lucky, because they had a tornado. He lived in South Jersey and they've been working from home. And he said the electric was out for like 10 days straight. So he said all he had to do was get out of bed, turn the light on. If it don't come on, he'd tell them his electric is out and they'll still pay him for the day. So he still got paid for them 10 days. I don't. So I had kept calling, like they tried to troubleshoot and everything, and then come to find out that apparently the rats underground is chewing on the wires around the corner, which is knocking all the files in my area out. So they came out, they fixed it, and then 2 days later, it was out again, and they was out there replacing the wires again. They're like, yeah, we probably got to like reroute all the wires and get them on the poles in the air because they keep chewing through the wires and, you know, messing up everybody around here. So I thought I was like pretty screwed, and I'm like, dang, I'm losing time on Codewars. And I tell you, I stare at one problem for like 20 minutes before I even decide like, okay, I'm gonna do it. Or, all right, no, I don't think I could do it. And I don't know, maybe it's just like my confidence level or something, but I know it'll get better over time. But it is a little it's a little intimidating because with the front end, you could do damn near everything on you know, with the dev tools and pretty much get everything done with front end. You can see it as it's going on, but like the trial and error with JavaScript and then trying it out don't work, then going back to the table, trying it out don't work. It's a little harder for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it is, it can be like intimidating, definitely, especially just starting like Codewars. As you do more and more though, you're gonna be like, oh, this is easy. I already know how to do this. I know how to do this. And I'm not sure if you already saw it. And for everybody else also, like if your internet do go out, like just, so what I would do is go to your phone, go to Codewars, and then do the problem from your computer, like without internet. Like you don't need the internet to write your JavaScript, or like if your browser reads HTML, CSS, and JavaScript by default. Every browser reads it. So open up Chrome, just do the problem on your computer, and then type it out on your phone, which is going to be a hassle, but but you can type it on your phone and check it from there. But so yeah, and also another thing I wanted to point out, something y'all can do if y'all are like doing a lot of these Codewars problems. It might be worth it to like post on LinkedIn that you've done a Codewars problem. Like just staying active on their website is going to show other people, like if they start seeing you post a lot and it's coding stuff, it's going to make them feel more confident about your coding ability. They'll say, okay, we have these jobs, like do you want to apply or whatever. So that'll help. And I honestly, I think that'll help more than more than just doing it on Codewars. Just posting it real quick to LinkedIn.
Time out. So you're basically just saying, just as you finish code word problems, just post the links into your LinkedIn profile, basically.
Right. Yeah. Post the URL and like the solution, the exact same format we doing, and like even tell people, hey, I'm trying to get better using Codewars, and I just want to post here. And, it helps. Because a lot of time when people apply for jobs, there's no real proof that you know how to code. It's like, how do we know you know how to code? How do we know you're not actually applying? Like, because most of the time people don't know how to code. They're people that apply for the jobs. So, but if you have proof, they the confidence go up. So, and they'll more likely choose you over somebody else because they see what you've done and they see your progression also. Like your coding will become more neater as you go. So that helps. All right. So Kev, you ready? Or
Yep, I'm ready to go.
all right, cool.
All right. Let me share my screen real quick. Hey, give me a sec.
I'm gonna just go on mute and just let y'all just go through them. So
Okay. So I grabbed this one. Didn't look too difficult to do. Pretty much taking your basic miles and what is a driving trip. You see, camping with friends, far from home, time to go back. You realize fuel's running low, nearest gas pump 50 miles away. Car runs about 25 miles per gallon. You have about 2 gallons left. So in the equation here, like you have enough gas to, make it, but they want you to pretty much do a return that will show if it's true if possible and false if not. So with a lot of these, I found myself doing a lot of if else statements just to kind of, figure them out first, but I want to start making mine more concise. So for this one, I might just jump right to like return or something. Then I might try, I think some basic multiplication to pretty much solve this one. So let's say distance to pump times the miles per gallon, or actually, I think maybe the fuel left would be better. And if y'all see something better, definitely let me know. And I'd say maybe this will equal the distance to the pump. And let's say if this is equal to, I want to try 0 first to see what that'll do. Not sure if that'll return correct or not. Nope. Okay, I figured.
So you'll want to put the equals 0 inside of those parentheses,
okay.
or you could, yeah.
Okay, cool. I didn't know if it'll mess with the inside equation or not.
Or you could build another set of quotes like around it, another set of parentheses rather around it. Like if you wanted to just separate them, you could do it that way.
Cool.
So it would be like a set of parentheses around your equation. Yeah. And so
that's I'm just jumping.
Yeah.
Just so I won't waste your time. So this is not valid JavaScript.
Okay.
So the reason like, can somebody tell me why this is not valid, or why this statement doesn't make too much sense in JavaScript?
So I see fuel left times miles per gallon equals distance pump. That equal sign right there, the first one, is an assignment, like you're trying to set something to equal. So it's not checking for equality.
Right. So
And the double equal or triple equal will check for equality.
right.
Okay. I think it'd be better if I just removed this part here and then just replaced that here maybe, and then just took this out altogether.
So I think a good way to think about this is to like say it in words, which what you're trying to do, before you write it. So with this one, right?
Mhm.
In plain words, like how would you describe like what this function does?
So from looking at it, I would say the amount of fuel left times the miles that you get per gallon.
Mhm.
Okay, now that I'm seeing, maybe equal wouldn't be the best. Maybe it should be either less than or equal to the distance to pump,
Right.
instead of it being equal.
Exactly. Yeah. So you just set it. So if you write what you just said in code,
So
right.
and
Actually, it has to be actually greater than.
false. Okay.
Yeah, I think it has to be greater than. So if it's less than, you can't make it.
Oh, right. It did say that. So this is where, again, over reading it more to understand it and be a lot better.
Yeah, and you can simplify that a little bit more.
A little more than that.
You can remove something from the return.
Are the parentheses needed at all?
No, exactly.
No.
That's what you can remove.
Okay.
And you can even simplify this even further, since we're using the arrow function. How do we simplify that further?
Brackets, take those away.
Right. And
You can
something
take-
else.
Hey,
Also.
what were the
And the
terms?
return keyword.
Right. Exactly.
So I can just leave it as fuel left times, just like this.
Go ahead, Terrence. You can.
Oh yeah. So since it's just returning and it's not doing any other action, this particular function, you can remove the return keyword, which you did, and you can also remove the brackets as well. The curly brackets right after the arrow, and then the one at the very end.
So
The first curly bracket there. Yeah.
Awesome.
And you can remove the one from the end. And you can technically have it all in one line. And that's your whole function.
Oh, cool. So it'll look something, and then I'll just take the note out. We can just do this, and I can just end it off like that. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's way more concise.
Yeah, it's probably the simplest way to write that one.
Yeah.
And if it only had one parameter, right now we have three: distance to pump, MPG, and fuel left. So we need those parentheses around that. But if it only had one parameter, let's just say distance to pump, then we could remove those parentheses as well, simplify it further. But I think this is as simple as it's going to get,
Okay.
given the current scenario.
Okay, cool. So the parentheses around, you said 3 parameters here. If we were just dealing with one, we wouldn't even need these either. Just the regular arrow. Okay. Cool. So yeah, I think that pretty much wraps that one up. I did the attempt, then it went through. And with a lot of these, I really don't, I guess because they're, of course we're in the 8. I think Jabez said it was Q. I don't really put them in VS Code a whole lot unless I just really want to understand the breakdown. The problem wasn't, I guess, a super complex, and it's, like I said, more simple math with this one. And I'm trying to move out of using if-else statements for a lot of these that I answer, and just trying to, again, make them more, smoother to read and not take up as many lines. So do submit that one. Okay, the attempt already took, so that one's all good. And then if we look at we can take a quick look at the solutions, see somebody else had, they just did distance pump divided by the mouse. Okay. So a little bit similar to what we did, but just a little different.
Just rearranged it.
Right.
Yeah, and changed the symbol. Yeah.
So this probably would have been just pretty much what we had before we cleaned it up. And this is about what we did here. I probably would have started with something more like this. But yeah, for the most part, everybody looks like they, except this one. And haven't seen that before, but yeah. Looks like everybody pretty much did the same thing. So yeah, that about wraps up that one.
You want to do another one, or if somebody else want?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you. I want to do should we pull up another one, or somebody else want to go? I'm fine with either or.
Yeah, I can share. Let me see. Let me get set up here.
I know mine wasn't really like a wow factor or nothing, but you know.
You have to see the screen, right?
Yep.
Cool. And let's try to scroll down.
Hey, nobody had questions about that last one we did, right? I don't think everybody got it right.
Yeah, I think everybody's out there.
Yeah, I figured as much.
I have to remember that last return. If it's just one single item, then you can take away all that stuff to refactor. I have to remember that. I always leave it in there.
Yeah. I'm gonna get into the habit of actually making a lot of the Codewars more arrow function opposed to leaving them as is. I don't really like the lineup they use, especially if we're supposed to be learning, you know, the most modern version of it. Just want to make sure I get into the habit of you know, practicing it as it's gonna be.
Yeah, I definitely was surprised that the little like beginner code they give you don't already be in the arrow function format.
Right. Especially with a lot of them being like a lot of them are really written like this year. I was seeing a couple of them were made like early part of this year, maybe like around January, February. So it's like, yeah, these are from, I think I said, so what was it, the last 3 to 5 years, arrow functions kind of became more of a thing.
Yeah. I normally always take them out of, I put them into VS Code, and that's the first thing I do is change it around to some syntax that I'm more comfortable with.
Yeah, that makes sense. Probably should start just, I should probably just start putting them in there just cause, honestly.
I think we want to try this one. Give us some practice with the replace function.
I mean, the other thing too about these Codewars is that it teaches you so many new things, man. Because you know you can't all these different tools in the toolbox, and with doing the research, you know, for how to actually solve these equations, you have to. It's forcing you to learn new things.
Yeah, I'm more of a hands-on learner myself, so this helps with, you know, actually being faced with a problem, not just practicing what you know, so that way you can get something new. Yeah.
yeah, definitely learn more with the Codewars because it forces us to research what we don't know, and then once we know it, but we're going to just apply it going forward. That's kind of the case here. I'm going to use a function that I recently learned to try to solve this one. So it should be simple. Write a function removing exclamation marks, which removes exclamation marks from a given string. And so I'm thinking we can use the replace method. So I'll take the string and we'll say return. And we can clean it up later. I'll just start with the simple stuff. So we'll say replace. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna actually open it up in VS Code. The benefit is that I can make sure I have my methods correct. So for example, I'll do s dot. I think it's replace, but I think Codewars doesn't tell us. So I'm going to put it in VS Code here, and it'll validate that I'm using a valid method. A lot of times when I run into bugs, it's because I might have like a capital R here under the method name, and then console will tell me like it doesn't exist. So I just hovered over it, and it already told me that it's valid. When I just hovered a second ago, it gave me the definition of it. So at least I know I'm using a valid string. And so the replace method will take the, takes what you're trying to replace, and so a search value and the replace string. And so the replace string in this case, since we're removing it, will just be an empty set of quotes here. Since we're replacing it with nothing, so we put an empty string there. And then what we're replacing is the exclamation marks, which we would do. I forget the exact term for this. Isaiah, you could chime in if you would. But I think we would put in the. Let me see. Let me just do W3 real quick.
Yeah, those are those regular expressions. I'm not too familiar with those ones, to be honest. I kind of know it on like a basic level.
Yeah, here it is. Oh, yep. So I was just right. So basically, yeah, the regular expression. And you said the term last week, and I couldn't remember, but I kind of had to do it for another Codewars. So basically, with the regular expression, from what I understand, at least how we're going to use it now, I know how to use it. What we're using, we'll use a slash between what we're replacing. So we're searching for it, and the G is global. So we do a global search in this case for our string. And then anytime we see the word blue, we replace it with red in this example. And so for our code, anytime we see the exclamation mark, we're going to replace it with an empty string. And I think that should work. Yep. And there's no quotes around the regular expression, even though it's taking a string. It doesn't need any quotes is what I noticed here. So I'm going to give this a test. Let's see.
Good job breaking that down, Terrence.
Yeah, I like to explain it in my head.
Right now.
Yeah, man. Got me wanting to use expressions now, man. Got me wanting to express myself.
So now I'm going to clean it up. And this is an example of what I was just mentioning, that since it's only taking one parameter, we'll go ahead and remove the parentheses from around that. And we can remove the brackets and the return keyword. And then this should work the same.
It's funny that it came back. Yeah.
I'm sorry, say that again, Kev?
I was saying it's funny that it came back around again, doing the same, removing the return, moving it up, the single line parameter and all that.
Oh, right, since it's just returning something.
Right.
Definitely helps you reaffirm. Okay, cool. And that's that. Any questions on that?
Just a quick comment real quick. Thank you for doing it. Like what you just did is an example of like what I want this class to be. like being able to break down a problem, analyze it. You even went to W3 school to show your like your source for it, and just teaching it like that. That's what I want like this to be. So yeah, thank you for that. Definitely captured what the class is. So yeah.
Yeah, I always heard this old quote, like to teach is to learn again. So like even if I'm by myself, I like to talk it out because I'm literally teaching myself again. Or if I'm in class, even if I fail, doesn't matter. Like I'm explaining it as I go along, so it makes sense to me. And so if I can explain it, I really know it. I guess is the best way I could put it. That it just helps build my own confidence, to be quite honest. So
Right.
teach it as you're learning is really a good method for learning anything.
That's good. That's good to
Just
use.
just a heads up too. I don't know if anybody has gone through. I know they are on the Udemy course as far as the exercises, but going through W School's exercises is pretty dope. Actually, I don't know if anybody's done it or not, but
Yeah, I did quite a few of them. They pretty good.
yeah.
Definitely.
I think if y'all go back through the course, the Udemy course, I think Isaiah added he added links in between some of them also.
Yeah.
So if y'all ran
Yeah,
through
that's what I was referring to.
that's one you referred to. Yep.
Yeah. I just because actually after going through one of those, I just was kind of got lost in playing in the W3 schools in the exercises. You know what I'm saying? And pretty much going through one by one, and it was pretty dope.
Yeah. It's funny because I always end up if I'm like looking up something, what something means, like what it does, I always end up on W3, usually in the process of going through the websites anyway. So that's W3 definitely where it's at.
All right. Does anybody else want to share, or I can just we can find another one off. Yeah, it's up to you guys.
You can do another one.
Okay. Let's see.
Hey, and if y'all wanted to, after Terrence did another one, if anybody who like was on their phone, if you wanted to, I could just like share my screen and we could like find one, and then you could just tell me like what to input or something like that. Like if y'all want to do that, that's cool. I'm cool with it.
Yeah, let's keep going.
Cool.
Yeah, let's try this one. Okay. So write a function to convert name into initials. This kind of strictly takes two words with one space in between them. The output should be two capital letters with a dot separating them. It should look like this. Sam Harris, SH. Okay. So let's see. Okay, so let's see how we can break this down. We could probably do, since it takes two, well, it takes one parameter, but then it takes two, the parameter has a space in between it. So two names, first and last name. And then it takes the first letter of each of those. So my thought is I'm probably going to, let me move this to the S code actually. Let's see. So I'm probably going to take the string and turn it into an array. I think that's how I want to start trying to tackle this one. So we're going to do, I'm just going to put some comments as I go along. So we'll do Okay, so we're going to use the split method to take the string and turn it into an array. And so we have to pass in a separator for the split method. And so since we know that it takes it's taking two names, then we know that the split, and the names are separated by a space, first name, space, last name. Then we know we want to use a space as the separator here. And then let's see, so we'll save that, and then let's do a quick console log, and we'll do let's see. My name. Okay, so first thing is, let's open this up. And open up the console. And let's see, it didn't return anything. So we'll do, okay, so now we took the string that I passed in of my name and we converted it into an array. And now we have, an array with two indexes, my and name. And so now we would have to break it down further since we have two names. I think then what we could do is take the first name, and let's write another. So let's see. Convert first. So I'm thinking what we can do is take the first name and then, because we still got to separate it because we want the first letter of the first name. We don't know how long the name's going to be, so we can't do an exact number. So what we can do is we could take the first index of this. Let's see, do that, and first index is always 0. So right now, let's do. I'll just return the first name. And if it worked, then I should get my in the console. And I do. Okay, so now we got the first name. And then we can get the first letter of the first name. So we can do all right, first letter. And in order to grab the first letter of the first name, I'm thinking that, let's see, when it comes back, I'm thinking we can do
chart method.
Say it again, Sam.
Chart method to get the first character. CHARAT, then the parentheses.
I apologize. I still didn't catch that. Could you say it again?
You're saying to use a chart add method. I just threw it in the chat.
Ah.
I think that's it.
Okay.
But there's multiple ways to do it, but that's definitely one way.
Cool. Yeah, because I was about to go about the long way. So chart add. Okay. Let me try that. So let's see. First letter we'll do. All right. And then chart add. So oh wait, let me go back and just make sure I got it right. All right, let me just copy it. And then it just takes a number, or does it take a string?
So a good
A number.
yeah, a quick tip on this, right? What I would, so if you go down to the next line really quick, go down to the next line.
Oh,
Enter.
the next line right here. Okay.
Press like a quote, like a single quote or double quote, that doesn't matter. And then after that, so move your cursor over to the right, and then press dot, and then type out, and then type out chart. So now you're able to go back to that screen that you was at when you were seeing like the parameters that you can put in there. So
okay, so then if I want to put this, oh, I see. So then you get the definition.
Right, exactly. Just a quick, just in case you ever wanted to. And the reason it wasn't showing up before is because JavaScript didn't know that was going to be a string, and that's why we did those quotes, because that's a string. So.
Okay, no, that makes sense. Perfect. Okay, so then I'm gonna test that. Let's see. So really, what we can do then is we'll just test this to make sure it works. You don't need necessarily set it to a variable since that's what we're returning. Oh, let me go back. Hold on.
0.
Okay, yep. I grabbed the 1 instead of 0. It starts at 0. Ooh, okay. That works. So let me go back to the problem, because I know I can do the same thing with the last name, but I want to make sure I plan this out right. So let's see. Now we have a way of getting both the first initial of both the first name and last name. And they want us to return it separated by a dot. So we can use I think the easiest way is we can use the backticks for that. So what we can do is, let's do it this way. And then we have to set the last name as well. So what we can do is, index 1. I cut instead of copy. Okay, I know what I did on there. All right, so let's do it. Okay, so we got first name and last name. Go ahead.
I see that I was thinking of looping over the string, then finding the first character of each string, because there could be more than one string.
Well, in this case, and the instructions are saying that it only is going to have 2 words separated, like first name and last name. Because it's only going to have 2 words, I can do the 0 and 1, right? Because index 0 would be Sam, index 1 would be Harris for this particular problem, because we know for sure it's only going to take an input of 2 words separated by a space.
It may get past the first one, but the attempt, it may not get past it because there could be more than 2 words. There could be 3 words.
Right. Well, for this one, it only takes 2 words, though, right? According to the instructions.
Okay.
So I know I get what you're saying, but I think for this particular problem, we should be able to get away with this only because we know how many. It can't take more than 2 words in this case. So I'm gonna give it a test here. I'm separated by a dot, so let's see. This. This name. All right. Okay, I'm just going to go to test in the console first. And it's got to be capitalized. That was the other thing that it said, I believe. 2 capital letters, yeah. Okay, so now we got to make sure we return them capitalized. So I think we can take this and chain it. Not really sure. I want to test it here. Let me try it with the first letter and see if it actually works. Okay, and it didn't break, so should be able to do the same thing with the last letter. Okay. Now let's try it again. Okay. I think this should work. I'm gonna give it a test. All right, let's see. S-A. Okay. Okay, almost as next up the variables. Let's see. And we're split, which has converted to array. First name, take the first argument of the array. Last name.
Should be MN.
Okay.
MN.
Say that again, Sam?
I said it should be
Should be
MN.
MN.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Good call. So let me go back here. I see, and it's grabbing. Oh, okay.
The chart.
Got it. Yep. So, oh, I see. Chart at. Okay, that's one problem. I got you. Got it. I was grabbing the second corner. So then this is actually still right. All right. Cool. So let's test it in the console first. Gotcha. Okay. Good catch. Thank you. Okay. That did it. Since it's an arrow function, the only refactoring that I see, well, right off the bat, I should say, is I could take the main parameter, the parentheses off of that. If there's a way to simplify it, well, of course, we don't need the console log in the test here, but if there's a way to simplify it further, you guys feel free to chime in.
I have a quick question. What made you want to turn them into an object, into an array?
Because since it's a string, I guess the array, turn it into an array did one thing for me. It took all of the characters, or actually took the 2 two words, right? So it's taking in first name, last name. Using the split method to turn it into an array allowed me access to each one. So I know that there's two names. So the first one's going to get the index of 0, or position of 0, and the last one's going to get the position of 1. So really it just allowed me access to them. And it, converting it to an array that way, it just allowed me to get access to each name separately, I guess is the best way I can put it, before I can do anything else with it.
Gotcha.
Any other questions or suggestions?
I have a way to simplify it more actually. So give you a quick clue of what I'm gonna say before I say it. You can get the index of strings as well. So there's a quicker way to a more simplified way to do this one.
Okay. Yeah, index of, right? I think that's actually the exact name, right? Index of is the.
So copy and paste this in the chat real quick.
Okay.
Let me. I'll just do it from my end. And the only reason I'm doing this is because we only got 5 minutes left, and I feel like it'll be a good teaching point.
Sure.
What you have is fine though. Like there's nothing wrong with what you have, like at all. So, all right, if you can stop sharing, I can share my screen. Yeah, that was a good one though. And to comment on like something y'all was kind of like discussing about whether or not to loop over the string or not, it's really debatable. Whichever way you want to do it is however you want to do it. But like for me, if I was to do it a certain way, I would do it so that it's more robust. Well, it really depends. So the problem did say that it took two words, and you want to code to the problem. You don't want to over engineer. But there is I would probably stick to not over engineering. But if you didn't know how many words or like first, middle, last or whatever, however many names they have, then obviously the looping over will work. But it's just really a debatable topic, like whether or not you want to make it more robust by taking into account all cases or just coding for just the problem. Like it's something that y'all will kind of like now, so y'all kind of
like a judgment call.
Right. Another thing I noticed,
Okay.
it's not as serious. So you see how I copied this in and like there's some spacing issues. I will always format document the
Okay.
those. And that just kind of help clean up things. So a way that we can redo this, like we didn't have to use chart. Chart is completely fine, but we didn't have to do it that way. Yeah, I would have did this split here because that's the only way to, for me in my mind, to separate the different
Bless you.
Yeah, bless you. The different names or whatever. So yeah, this what I would do. Instead of doing this, let me just down here, I would split, then I would just go straight for the first letter. I'll go straight for the first letter, chart at 0. So this gives me back the first string, and then get the first letter, put a 0 there, and then you can just uppercase it from here.
I was thinking about that, and I didn't know if it was going to work. Like it passed my mind, like, okay, can you do it that way? Get the
Right.
the index of the index almost, right?
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly. So yeah,
Okay.
and I'm glad you use these template string. This is called a template string. Like I'm glad you use those because this is very helpful. So I would just do first letter dot last letter directly in there. And that should still work. Let me save this and go to the browser. Where is it? I think it's here. Do a refresh. If I do this, pass in data, Harrison. Next, let me put one of them like that. Yeah, so that still works. But either way works. Either way works. And obviously, if you want to simplify this down even further, you can just directly throw this inside of here. So like without even, yeah. But this will tiptoe in the territory of like, is this actually readable? Like, how do I know? Like what is this? Like, if I saw this for the first time, I wouldn't know what you were trying to do unless I kind of like broke it down. I think having the variables saying exactly which one is which, like what this represents, is probably more readable. So that's how I would do it. We are at 12 o'clock. So on Tuesday, we're gonna do the same thing that we did last Tuesday. Y'all just gonna do your work on your projects. Yeah, and obviously, keep going through the Udemy course while y'all do these projects. We should start. Let me see. So right now it is the 31st. I gave it a project here. The project is due on the 7th. Hold on, it's due on the 14th, actually, August 14th. And so we'll present on the 14th, and we'll start React. Let me see, we'll present on the 14th. We'll continue through all the other projects. And once we get through all the other projects, we'll start on React. I'm hoping we can start on React by like the 28th at soonest. If not the 28th, I'm thinking the 4th of September. So, and that'll give us enough time to do React plus a little bit of Python, a little bit of database stuff before we end the class. So, all right.
What project do you want everybody through on the Udemy course now?
Yeah, just I would try to knock all of them, honestly. And that's because I want y'all to be able to speed through them once y'all do the presentations. If y'all can just knock them all out back to back, that'll probably be better.
All right.
Yeah. All right, cool. All right, so if there's no other questions, I'll see everybody on Tuesday.
Have a good one, guys.
See ya.
See you Tuesday.
All right, see ya.
Hey, peace, everybody.